The media is beside themselves over another one of Donald Trump's quote unquote controversial cabinet picks. This time it was Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who Donald Trump selected to head up the Department of Health and Human Services. Yep, he will be the Secretary of Health and Human Services. And that, ironically, he's supposed to be making America healthier, but so far all he's done is made a whole bunch of liberals sick. It was an amazing reaction. CNN reacted this way.
Well, America, I hope you like measles.
Yeah, that was a very well thought out report from Jake Tapper at CNN, who said, well, America, I hope you like measles. They believe that RFK Jr. apparently will just get rid of every single vaccine, whether it's been proven effective or not, and that we're all going to be walking around with smallpox and bubonic plague. Sanjay Gupta, also from CNN, had some similarly negative comments about the RFK selection.
To steer clear of politics, but this really isn't about politics, because this is somebody who has been, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has been pushing quackery, who has been pushing lies, who has been pushing conspiracy theories. You've been talking to experts in the health community, the medical community, preparing for him, RFK Jr., to be given some sort of role in health. What have they said to you?
Well, you know, it's not often that the entire medical and public health community is going to be in lockstep on something, but they're pretty close on this in terms of their significant concerns, horror even. Somebody said to me today, I can't think of any single individual who'd be more damaging to public health than RFK.
They are literally horrified. They are literally horrified by the pick of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Now, it's an interesting pick for a couple of reasons. Number one, we know that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is very, very anti-junk food, and Donald Trump loves his McDonald's. So I don't see a lot of working lunches between these two. But Robert F. Kennedy Jr. should come as no surprise to anybody, because President Trump has not only campaigned with him and welcomed him into the campaign, but early on, and in many of their meetings, has said, this is the man who is going to make America healthy again. And he reiterated that statement again in his Truth Social post announcing the pick. I am thrilled to announce Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as the United States Secretary of Health and Human Services. For too long, Americans have been crushed by the industrial food complex and drug companies who have engaged in deception, misinformation, and disinformation when it comes to public health. The safety and health of all Americans is the most important role of any administration. And HHS will play a big role in helping ensure that everybody will be protected from harmful chemicals, pollutants, pesticides, pharmaceutical products, and food additives that have contributed to the overwhelming health crisis in this country. Mr. Kennedy will restore these agencies to the traditions of gold standard scientific research and beacons of transparency to end the chronic disease epidemic and to make America great and healthy again. That is what RFK Jr. has been tasked with, and that is, I believe, what he will accomplish. However, he will also be put in charge of the FDA, the USDA, the NIH, and the CDC. And this is where it gets really tricky, because Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a best-selling author. His book is called The Real Anthony Fauci: Bill Gates, Big Pharma, and the Global War on Democracy and Public Health. And this was an expose where if you read this book, or if you're planning on reading this book, you're going to see and hear things about Dr. Fauci that Robert F. Kennedy has found and researched and has reported on that are going to make your jaw drop. They are going to make you shocked beyond belief. And the most interesting thing about all the claims in this book, the most interesting thing about what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. writes regarding Dr. Anthony Fauci and Bill Gates and Big Pharma and the global war on democracy and public health is that not one lawsuit has been filed. Not one libel suit or defamation suit, none of those. There's not one complaint from Dr. Fauci or the NIH or anyone else that has been reported on in this book that has been taken to task or refuted or sued, has been taken to court. And if they don't sue, that means that probably it's true. There was also reaction in the other press. The Huffington Post's headline: Trump taps anti-vaxxer RFK Jr. to lead Health and Human Services. This is about how This is about how it went across the media platform. And there are there are clips of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. appearing before Congress multiple times to talk about the dangers of the United States of America and our vaccination policy and how the industry of pharmaceuticals and vaccines has bastardized human health services. And there's one clip in particular which I thought was quite poignant for this moment.
I'm not anti-vaccine, but I think we need to be honest and we need to have good science. I spent 30 years trying to get mercury out of the fish in this country, and nobody ever called me anti-fish.
Nobody ever called me anti-fish. Tried to get mercury out of the salmon. Nobody said that guy's anti-fish. That guy hates seafood. Truly, with these two back-to-back appointments of Matt Gaetz and now RFK Jr., Donald Trump has taken this idea of just kind of consistently shocking the system of the media and the left more and more so that they forget they were shocked about the pick before. One thing is clear. I do believe that with Matt Gaetz as Attorney General, with now Robert F. Kennedy Jr., because remember, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the Democrats don't like him because he abandoned the Democrat Party and he sided with Donald Trump. He went out and campaigned for Donald Trump, and he went out now to access or to accept a position in Donald Trump's cabinet. So the Democrats will not support him for confirmation, and the Republicans don't like him because he's a Democrat. And it's going to be a very, very difficult confirmation process for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. But again, that's why the importance of recess appointments has come back up. Now you've got Matt Gaetz for Attorney General and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for HHS. You're definitely...
I'm not anti-vaccine, but I think we need to be honest and we need to have good science.
Yeah. We're definitely going to need some recess appointments in our future. And John Thune, the new Senate Majority Leader, was asked about that on Fox News because President Trump went to every single candidate, John Cornyn, Rick Scott, John Thune, before the Senate Majority Leader was chosen and said, hey, I don't care who it is. I don't care which one of y'all gets the gig, but you need to give me recess appointments because we've got some appointments that I believe will only be done through recess appointments. And so Brett Baer on Fox News asked him about this. Here's what he said.
So you've said that you would do recess appointments if it came to that. What's the threshold for getting to that point for recess appointments?
Well, what I said is, Brett, and I think this is that all options are on the table, including recess appointments. Hopefully it doesn't get to that, but we'll find out fairly quickly whether the Democrats want to play ball or not. And I think part of it is getting these folks. We'll start having confirmation hearings as soon as the new Senate is sworn in January. President takes the oath of office January 20th. By the time he takes the oath of office, hopefully a lot of those nominees will be through their confirmation hearings and will be ready to act on them on the Senate floor. And then it's a question of how much do the Democrats resist or object or try to block those nominations from going forward. And we're going to grind them out. I mean, we're just going to keep consistently moving, and we'll see what kind of cooperation we get. And then we'll, like I said, we'll make decisions about where do we go from there.
So that seemed like a positive. It seemed like John Thune was open to the fact, but he wasn't as direct as I think a lot of people hoped he would be. It'll be a litmus test for the new Senate Majority Leader if he can get these appointments through or if he'll recess the Senate so that they can be appointed through the recess appointments process. There were a couple of other interesting things that popped up yesterday. Those weren't the only nominees. In fact, there was another nomination for the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, and that was former Congressman from Georgia, Doug Collins. I am pleased to announce my intent to nominate former Congressman Doug Collins of Georgia as the United States Secretary for Veterans Affairs. Doug is a veteran himself who currently serves our nation as a chaplain in the United States Air Force Reserve Command and fought for our country in the Iraq War. We must take care of our brave men and women in uniform, and Doug will be a great advocate for our active duty service members, veterans, and military families to ensure they have the support they need. Thank you, Doug, for your willingness to serve our country in this very important role. And Doug Collins has had a really interesting kind of checkered past in Georgia. Doug Collins was what you would then call the bulldog or the firebrand congressman who defended Donald Trump during the Mueller investigation. He was right there on TV every single day, sitting right next to Jerry Nadler and trying to debunk all of the lies and rumors from the Mueller investigation and the Russia collusion hoax. And then Doug Collins was Donald Trump's requested or desired choice to replace the senator, outgoing senator in Georgia when that seat came available. But Governor Brian Kemp gave it to Kelly Loeffler instead, angering Donald Trump. He really wanted Doug Collins in that position. And I believe Doug Collins also wanted to be the senator from Georgia. But what happened was Brian Kemp chose Kelly Loeffler. Now, Doug Collins then ran in that election against Raphael Warnock and Kelly Loeffler. And as a result, drew enough votes away from Brian Kemp's pick so that it went to a runoff election instead of giving her the 50% plus one or requisite, to become the senator right out of the gate. And he kind of became ostracized in the Republican Party in Georgia. Now Donald Trump is putting him back in the cabinet, which is kind of a revival of power and just goes to show that Donald Trump never forgot his loyalty during the Mueller investigation. And as a veteran, we look for big things from Doug Collins because the Veterans Affairs is a very important part of this administration, and it's one that has been kind of neglected in the last 4 years. President Trump also made an announcement about his attorney, Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche will serve as Deputy Attorney General in my administration. Todd is an excellent attorney who will be a crucial leader in the Justice Department, fixing what has been a broken system for justice for too long. Todd prosecuted gangs and other federal crimes as a chief in the Southern District of New York. He clerked for 2 federal judges and graduated with honors from law school while working full-time, at the SDNY. Todd is going to do a great job as we make America great again. So he's filling out the Justice Department. It starts with Matt Gaetz. Now he's got his personal attorney, Todd Blanche, in there. And he's going to go and get the toughest Make America Great Again attorneys that he can find to stack the Justice Department and root out the corruption. President Trump also made another one of those anti-endorsements. Remember, we mentioned to you how he came right out of the gate, right after Susan Wiles was nominated or appointed as chief of staff. Donald Trump came out and the president said, hey, listen, just so you know, there will be no room in my cabinet for Nikki Haley and or Mike Pompeo. He did it again yesterday when he wrote about Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan Chase. He wrote, I respect Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan Chase greatly, but he will not be invited to be part of the Trump administration. I thank Jamie for his outstanding service to our country. There are a bunch of reasons why he came out and said this. Jamie Dimon's name was being floated for Treasury Secretary. However, there have been some back and forth comments in the media about Jamie Dimon. He has said some things about Donald Trump in the past that I'm sure Donald Trump was maybe not too happy about. He never came out and formally endorsed Donald Trump. And I think the big question was somebody asked him if he would take the job, and he accepted it before it was even offered. Either way, Donald Trump wanted it to be clear that it will not be offered to him. And one last bit of news coming directly from Mar-a-Lago. Last night, there was a big gala celebration at Mar-a-Lago at the president's home for the America First Policy Institute. And the America First Policy Institute it was star-studded. Everyone was there. Sylvester Stallone came out and introduced President Trump to the crowd and said this.
When George Washington defended his country, he had no idea that he was going to change the world. Because without him, you can imagine what the world would look like. Guess what? We got the second George Washington. Congratulations.
It's now no surprise to me that Sylvester Stallone would introduce President Donald Trump as the second George Washington because that guy loves sequels. He made 5 or 6 sequels to every movie that he ever made. Also, Elon Musk was there, and President Trump had a little bit of fun at his expense.
We have a man who has a seriously high IQ. You know, I'm a person that believes in high IQs, and his is about as high as they get. He launched a rocket 3 weeks ago, and then he went to Pennsylvania to campaign because he considered this more important than launching rockets that cost billions of dollars. Elon Musk. Elon. What a job. What a job he does. And he happens to be a really good guy. You know, he likes this place. I can't get him out of here. He just likes this place. And you know what? I like having him here, too. He's good. He's done a fantastic job. Really an incredible mind, and he's an unbelievable entrepreneur, sort of everything. I'm asking him, what do you do best? And we were not able to figure it out, but it's a lot of things.
So Elon Musk, the guest that wouldn't leave at Mar-a-Lago, but Donald Trump doesn't seem to mind. And of course, he's also doing some great work. He's preparing to disassemble and destroy and just take a hatchet to the United States federal government and the bureaucracy, and of course all of the pork that's just been sucking up all of our tax dollars. Vivek Ramaswamy, his co-chair in Doge, was also there, and he had this to say.
Last Tuesday was not the destination, it was the start line for the revival of this country. The cabinet picks this week, you know what? Donald Trump wasn't afraid in putting Tom Homan and Kristi Noem in charge of the mass deportations of millions of illegals for this country. But I also want to thank him for making sure that Elon Musk and I are in a position to start the mass deportations of millions of unelected federal bureaucrats out of the D.C. bureaucracy. That, too, is how we're going to save this country. And I don't know if you've got to know Elon yet, but he doesn't bring a chisel. He brings a chainsaw, and we're going to be taking it to that bureaucracy. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so a lot of the initiatives that are moving forward were reiterated and announced again there at the celebration last night at Mar-a-Lago for the America First Policy Institute. President Trump did also make a surprise pick for his cabinet. In fact, the choice was already made. It had not yet been announced. And Donald Trump, he took the liberty to just announce it to him, to the crowd there live at Mar-a-Lago last night.
We have a big announcement, and I won't tell you the name of his, the exact name. I think he's an incredible person. He's got an unbelievably wonderful wife named Catherine. So I won't tell you his name. It might be something like Burgum. He's from North Dakota. He's going to be announced tomorrow for a very big position. So everybody's waiting. There he is. Hi, Doug. He's going to be announced tomorrow, and we have somebody else that's probably coming up with him to be announced, who's a big one. And we're going to do things with energy and with land, interior, that is going to be incredible. And so I look forward to doing the formal announcement, although this is a pretty big announcement right now. Actually, he's going to head the Department of Interior, and he's going to be fantastic. Good, Doug. Congratulations, Catherine. But we'll make the formal announcement tomorrow.
All right, so that formal announcement of Doug Burgum, governor of North Dakota, to be the Secretary of the Interior and lead up the Interior Department. That, by the way, means that both Dakotas will be governorless, because Kristi Noem from South Dakota has already been tapped to be the Homeland Security Secretary, and now Doug Burgum is already on the chart, even though it hasn't been officially announced. He's already on the chart as Interior. So if you live in one of the Dakotas, North or South, you're going to be needing a new governor. But this is how it's working out. And as you can see, it seems like there have been so many of these appointments made already, and there have, but it's about exactly half. It's about exactly half of the cabinet appointments that require the approval of the Senate. There's still half of them to go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 down. And then we've still got Treasury we're waiting for. We've got agriculture and commerce, labor, housing and urban development, transportation, energy, and education. And the energy secretary is probably one of the big ones that we're looking at and that we're waiting for. Because with Donald Trump's plan to make America, the drill baby drill concept of making America energy independent and then selling our excess resources to our allies so we can bankrupt Iran and Russia and Venezuela and all these other horrible places that use the money we send them for oil against us. That energy secretary is going to be working with the Department of the Interior to find out where and when and how fast we can drill. And then, of course, also with the Secretary of State. This is going to be a large group of people working together on the Make America First or Make America Great Again agenda. And it's going to be very exciting to see. We also have other cabinet roles: management and budget, science advisor, small business, trade, and the economic advisors chairperson. We're going to wait to see how those pan out. We know Doug Burgum's announcement is coming later today. We hope there will be other announcements coming later today. One thing I know that's coming later today is our commentary podcast. So if you enjoyed this news, just wait till noon Eastern, 11 Central, when we unleash Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. That's not just news from President Trump, but from all around the country, and you're not going to want to miss it. Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts.